A curious castle stands in a desolate hellscape. A quiet girl sits alone, the only colour in a pure white room. After images of friends pressed on blank walls and what was once a charm of seashells now reflects as a yellow star. Today we are discussing Naminé, a witch with the power over memories. Welcome to Shedding Starlight.
Naminé is a little girl found at Castle Oblivion. Her clothes fit the castle's aesthetic, wearing a white dress and sandals accented with flowers. But whether she always resided within the castle, or if the organization brought her there, is unknown. Either possibility might explain her intentions, as she's tortured with loneliness. Naminé also seems to have a connection to Kairi. Naminé described herself as the shadow of Kairi, and there is imagery comparing the two. Like when Naminé disguised herself as Kairi to encourage Riku to use the power of darkness in his own way. Or when one of the two illusions of Naminé changed to Kairi during Sora's visit to the card world of Destiny Islands. Because these two girls are connected, Naminé says that any attempt to replace Kairi will be in vain.
In our episode on Castle Oblivion, we mentioned that while it can project memories read from cards, it's not responsible for our heroes forgetting things and for Sora's false memories. Rather, Castle Oblivion's supposed rule,
"In this place to find is to lose, and to lose is to find,"
is a false impression Marluxia told Sora to deter him and the others from suspicion. So if Sora forgetting the truth and remembering the non-existent is truly due to Naminé, let's examine her powers and the full extent of her abilities. Naminé's powers over memories are quite extensive. The one she's most known for, her ability to rearrange memories, we'll explore last.
Larxene says Naminé can enter memories, like when Sora falsely recalls her sitting at the beaches of Destiny Islands, drawing instead of swimming with the others. But Larxene says she can also conjure up entirely new memories of things that never happened. For example, the memory of either Sora or the Riku replica insisting they observed a meteor shower with Naminé. Fans discuss if this memory was completely fabricated or if Naminé simply inserted herself. As we've discussed in our very first episode, that there was indeed a meteor shower on Destiny Islands when Sora and Riku were children. For now, it seems Naminé can manipulate more than just Sora's memories. For one thing, Jiminy, Donald, and Goofy also forget things from their first adventure, like the name of Hollow Bastion. There's also Axel copying Sora's memories of Destiny Islands, or in his words, Sora and Riku's home. With Naminé's power, the organization uses those memories to make the Riku replica genuinely believe he's really Riku.
While memories are abstract mental images representing the past, they have a surprising physical influence on the present. Naminé is seen drawing various illustrations throughout the game. Some are explainable, like near the beginning of the game when she sketches Castle Oblivion. However, she also has a sketch of Sora before ever meeting him. And at another point, she draws herself holding hands with Sora, Kairi, and Riku. In the following scene, Sora falsely recalls her living on Destiny Islands. So it's unknown if the act of drawing itself is what manipulates memories, or if Naminé simply draws memories she sees in her mind's eye, be they genuine or fabricated.
Whether or not Naminé's sketchbook has a role in influencing memories, either way, memories can influence objects. For example, at one point, Jiminy opens his journal that recorded our hero's first adventure, only to find it entirely blank. Somehow, Naminé erasing our hero's memories also erased physical writings. This isn't just an illusion of perception. The journal truly is blank. Another example is how Naminé transformed two different objects into similar yellow star charms. One charm was originally a card with Sora's memory of Destiny Islands, and the other was originally Kairi's lucky charm. And again, the way Larxene applauds Naminé for this incredible power makes it sound like it's not just an illusion, but a real physical transformation.
At the end of Sora's journey through the castle, Naminé offers to reconstruct his memories as they were before. She reveals that she doesn't actually erase memories, but rather rearranges them further into your subconscious. If memories are a chain, we can imagine the links in front are remembered first, and the further down the chain the memory is, the more difficult it is to recall. It's similar to real life. When you suddenly recall a moment you hadn't thought about in years, that memory was never gone, only buried.
When you remember one thing, that leads to remembering another. And then another, and then another.
Naminé reconstructing Sora's memories seems to require more effort than when she deconstructed them. Sora was active during his relatively short journey through Castle Oblivion, but Naminé implies that in order to restore his memories, she needs him to sleep for a long period of time.
It might take some time, but I think it might work. It's my turn to look after you.
Unfortunately, putting the links of Sora's original memories back in the beginning of the chain means his memories of Castle Oblivion will be attached to the end, almost impossible to recall. In other words, Sora won't remember any of the organization, nor Naminé herself. Naminé, while small in frame and meek in personality, has incredible powers and abilities over memories. Although surrounded by organization members, she was alone.
And in that loneliness, she tried to make Sora her friend in the only way she knew how. But to correct her mistakes, she chose to tolerate the loneliness and put Sora to sleep so she could restore his original memory.
Although Sora won't remember her when he wakes up, at least he'll have the note written by Jiminy in his journal to thank Naminé.
Welcome back, everyone, to Shedding Starlight, and we have with us today not only the famous Mel of Secret Reports fame, but we have our very first guest with us today. Everyone, please welcome Mr. Sonny Novus of YouTube channel Sonny Novus fame.
Oh
Sonny,
my
welcome.
God, hello. This is crazy. Like, what a feeling. What an honor. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just smiling right now. I'm so stoked to be here. Thank you so much.
Of course, we're so glad to have you, and for such an apt episode. Mr. Sonny recently released a YouTube video about who we're talking about today, which is our favorite girl, Naminé.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we decided that we thought it would be very appropriate for Sonny to be on our episode today to talk about Naminé. We just did I think it was a shorter presentation, like probably 8 minute presentation on Naminé to talk about her.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just go around the room and say what our favorite thing about Naminé is. How about that?
Yeah, go for it.
Mel, you go first.
I'll start,
Yeah.
I love that she's an artist because when I was younger, I was like, oh my God, I'm an artist. Like, we're the same. She's blonde, I'm blonde. Like, we're the same person.
Wow.
All right, Sonny, your turn.
You know what? Wow. I mean, what a question. I'm
putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I don't know if this is going to be cliche or anything, but I think her personality, and I think there's a lot of depth and nuance to her character and her reactions to certain things and her attitude, and I think that can be overlooked sometimes. And I think that Naminé is such a precious little stone, and I love that about her, and that kind of persists. Like a lot of characters in Kingdom Hearts, they kind of fluctuate in terms of temperament, but Naminé, she's always going to be Naminé, no matter where she is, who she's with, and I think that, is worthy of admiration.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Okay, so my favorite thing about Naminé is how relatable she is, because if I had a chance to write myself into Sora's memories, I would fucking do it. I would fucking do it. Let's just be real.
She does self-insert fan fiction, fan art, or whatever.
Literally.
She better work. So when I was writing this, I'm not gonna lie, I started getting a little lump in my throat because she's just so little. And nobody that little and that small and that cute should go through so much. Nobody should. She doesn't deserve it.
She's just a little girl, and she's being so brave.
She's
classic
being so
Kingdom
brave.
Hearts, right? Just classic,
I
just
love her.
children going through traumatic events. It's just
Yes.
what a sight to behold.
We love children being traumatized. We love it for our entertainment. Yeah, she's so little. And just to kind of dive into our first talking point here, in our past few episodes, we talked so much about all of the visual contrast that exists in Castle Oblivion with their coats, and it's so apt to have all of these big, tall, giant people dressed in black around Naminé, who is tiny and little and a brave little girl. She's wearing a tiny little white dress, and she matches the castle, but the people who are controlling her just have this crazy contrast to her. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at a YouTube video of her cutscene specifically, and a lot of people in the comments were describing her as angelic, and I think that is so. And she even has a little angel plush of her sometimes, which is it's so she's an angel. We love her. I'm gonna cry. I love her so much.
Yeah, that plush would be hundreds of dollars if Square Enix released it. Ceramic
sell it on
wings.
eBay.
I would
Genuine.
fucking buy it.
I would too. It's so cute.
I want to
Imagine a keychain of that. That would be so amazing.
Oh, that would be so cute. But yeah, she's the crazy visual contrast that, especially with all of these concepts being introduced in this game that are carried on for the rest of the series. It's very interesting to set up all of these characters this way, and to just show her as this little, soft, white, very blonde hair, just soft in every way.
Yeah.
In contrast to everything else around Sora and the gang.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's such a stark contrast between Kingdom Hearts 1 going into Chain of Memories. There's this tonal shift that at the beginning kind of it goes underbelly, and then it seeps through the more you progress through the castle. And I think that's so indicative of the characters that you meet, because you have Naminé, and then you have literally everyone else who's just washed in total black. And especially with the names as well, if keen-eyed players would play through the game for the first time, they would notice that all of these villains have an X in their name. You have Marluxia, you have Larxene and Zexion and characters like that. And then you have Naminé, who kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, much like the accent on the end of her E. It's she's just there. And even though she is in white, much like the castle, and kind of designed like this apparition, this kind of ethereal ghost that just roams around, it just feels like the organization members are haunting her space. It feels like, they are intruders in her world, And it kind of, going back to what Mel said about the lump in the throat, it's like, it just, without Naminé even being present in the scene, you just kind of feel her presence within the castle itself. It's like, it's almost like an extension of her, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Part of me wonders if, like, that is what their original intention was to have, like, such a strong connection between Naminé and Castle Oblivion. And there still is. But within just Chain of Memories itself, and the visual cues and the visual similarities between the two,
Yeah.
there really are so similar. They feel like they go hand in hand.
Yeah, they are both these, you know, white entities that can manipulate the things around them, which is
affecting
wild.
Because, like, they both have influence over memories. And so, like, I wrote here, like, we talked about how, you know, Castle Oblivion can, like, project memories of past worlds and, like, show you things of the past. And then we also talked about in this presentation how Naminé, it seems like she can change, like, the actual physical object by manipulating memories. And so that is something that, like, you know, Castle Oblivion doesn't do exactly that. But that's just one of the things that in my head, like, you would think they would go hand in hand and that they would be connected, or, like, she, like, lives there, or, like, the castle's, like, in her name or something, you know? But
Yeah.
anyway, so my whole point about Naminé changing objects and shit is that, because at one point in the beginning of Traverse Town, so in the beginning of Chain of Memories, Sora, Donald and Goofy are back in, like, their normal Disney clothes. And then they go through the card world of Traverse Town, and then their clothes change. And they don't talk about it in voiced cutscenes, but in text dialogue, they're like, hey, your clothes are different, you know? And so with Naminé being able to use memories to manipulate the way objects appear, my only thought process was like, and, you know, the thing about Jiminy's journal is that Jiminy's journal is still blank by the end of the game. It doesn't get restored. And so my thought process was like, maybe that's why Donald and Goofy's clothes changed. Like, maybe she did something to manipulate it and they just never went back, like the journal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a few email questions about that. I think not maybe for this episode, but for other episodes on, like, why did their clothes change? What's going on there?
Yeah.
But something I wanted to mention is that, like, there's a scene with Naminé and Larxene where Larxene is like, oh, you changed the charm. What a good touch. Which makes me think, like, okay, so Naminé chose to do that on her own, so she's choosing to do a good job, which is just, like, she's really trying hard to make this, like, believable.
Yeah.
Like, this...
Yeah, she's a natural artist, really.
Yeah, yeah, she, like...
It reminds me of another scene that Larxene says to Naminé. She's like, oh, behind your cute little face, you do awful things. Like,
Yeah.
She's right. She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it just kind of shows, like, how lonely she really is, how desperate she really is, that she wants to, you know, convince these two that she is their friend. She was their friend.
Naminé literally did nothing wrong.
She did it. She's a victim.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's like she's capable of so much, and the more you think about it within the context of Chain of Memories, it's almost terrifying. It's like, what if she wasn't manipulated by these people and she, you know, got to live her life normally and kind of find herself by herself, what she would be capable of. It's like, you know, talking about, you know, changing the appearance of physical objects. It's like the Lucky Charm from Kairi, right? It's like, if she can change something like that to that extent, like, what is this hypothetical limit, so to speak? Like, what else could she change, and for how many people? And it's just kind of baffling to think about, like, you know, like, if she could do that to Sora and Riku Replica and characters like that, then knowing how many characters, Sora has met along his journey and become accustomed to, what else can Naminé do? It's like Naminé can pretty much rewrite Sora's entire existence and keep it that way if she so desired. And she doesn't need to have some sort of magical scythe or kunai knives to be cool. It's like, I think that she is so powerful in and of herself, and that's just another little reason why I like her, I think.
Yeah. I want to bring it to something that you wrote down here, Sonny. When she broke Replica Riku.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy shit. It looks like he took a sniper shot to the head when she did that.
That is
it's
the fastest
so
KO
crazy.
I've seen challenge runs of Kingdom Hearts and, speed runs and boss challenges, but like that, that's world record. That has to be some sort of world record about like soloing.
Like, that is great. Like, she incapacitates him literally immediately. Yeah. Like, how insane is that?
Yeah.
To me,
like, she's holding back. Like, she's wearing the weight. She's like not using her full power right now.
Yeah. To me, it goes to show, like, I hope this isn't too heavy, but like, it kind of shows like the power of unbalanced dynamics or abusive relationships, where it's like you could have physical power and the ability to stop it, but like the organization has such a manipulative hold on her that she wouldn't fucking dare touch like any of the organization members, because like the first, what's that quote? Like the first step to giving up your power is believing you don't have any. And so she probably is like, I think she could take on the organization 1,000%.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't because, like I said, of this manipulative hold that they have on her.
Yeah. Just scream stop and, that's it. World record is fine.
For real.
Oh, God.
Okay, anyway. So at one point in this script, somewhere in it, I don't remember where. I just read it, but whatever. I'm like Sora, bitch. Like 5 seconds ago, I don't remember what I was doing. But anyway.
Where am I? Hey, so it's Naminé episode. We just don't remember anything. It's fine.
Yeah.
She's messing with us right now.
Behind me.
Anyway, at one point, Naminé is like, she says that she doesn't erase memories. She just kind of rearranges them, and that kind of leads you to like temporarily forget. And that line always reminds me of the movie Spirited Away. Have either of you guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
It's been a long
I actually saw
time.
the stage play
Wow.
on Thursday. Yeah. It was really good.
So cool.
That's crazy.
Hannah,
I
did you
forgot to
say
mention
no?
that.
I saw it a long time ago, so I
okay.
really don't remember much of it.
Well, at one point, this lady says, like, once you meet someone, you never really forget them. It just takes a while for the memory to return. And I don't know if that's like a word for word quote. That's just what Google said, but I don't trust Google, as dumb as that sounds. But, and so that's what I really like about Kingdom Hearts, is this idea that, like, anything that happens to a character stays within them. And you still kind of see like the ripples of those effects throughout the whole series of different things that happen to them. And like Sora may not remember Castle Oblivion, but we are going to see. So I think like the whole point of Spirited Away is that I think at the end of the movie, the girl doesn't remember her adventure, but the lesson she learned and the wisdom she gained, is still within her heart. And so that kind of reminds me of Sora in Castle Oblivion. Like, Sora won't remember Castle Oblivion, but he'll still, obtain the lessons he learned of befriending Naminé and overcoming his own doubt. And that will always stay with him. And I just think that I love, like, I understand the frustration of characters forgetting the journey. Like, I get it. But for some reason, with Chain of Memories, the idea of all the emotional aspects remaining within him, I like that. I don't know, I do.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I really enjoy this concept of how memory works in this, how they introduce memory working in this, because I feel like a lot of the like concepts in Kingdom Hearts are kind of like just kind of made to be fantastical and magical. But like to me, with memory, I feel like this is, you know, the developers, the writers, really trying to find a way to actually kind of describe this phenomenon in real life of like how memory actually works. Because like whenever you think about something, you really can't, like if you haven't thought about it for years and years, it's still there, and then something makes you think of it, and then you're like, oh my god. Literally, this happened to me last night. I want to talk about it. I was streaming with one of our friends, and he started talking about this Lego game he used to play, and I was like, oh my god, we had a Lego game we used to play on our computer, and someone said the name of it, and I googled it. I'm like, oh my god, that's it. We used to play this game, and I literally haven't thought of it and I don't know how long. Like, it's not even something that's nostalgic for me. It's just something that was literally just dragged to the front of my memory. And I think this is like a great way to like, I don't know, illustrate that kind of feeling. Yeah, totally. Of like real life experiences, which I think is really cool. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, like it's so funny that you say that. Like, so I got back from work today, and my dad was talking to me, and he said, "Do you remember this kid from back on the estate that you grew up with?" And I was like, vaguely, and he was like, "Yeah, I saw him at the store with like his mom and stuff like that." And the more he spoke about him, the more my childhood came out. And I was kind of thinking about that for like an hour or two, and like it's so insane how just hearing someone's name can affect you and can reawaken something within you that you thought you lost a long time ago, or like seeing someone's face, or like, you know, hearing a piece of music. And like nostalgia is such a powerful motivator, and almost like a state of mind, like happiness or sorrow. Like nostalgia, this kind of melancholic feeling of like, oh, this person used to exist. Maybe they don't anymore, or maybe they do. And, you know, maybe they're just inside you, or maybe they're inside the people connected to you, and they have to kind of reawaken it for you. And, you know, I think Naminé is so indicative of that, because Kingdom Hearts is what, a 20-something-year-old series now. And a lot of us grew up with characters like Naminé, like Sora, like Riku, like Kairi. And like, even now in the year, what year is it? 2024, jeez. Getting on now, yeah. Even now, it's like, I've had so many friends that have come and gone in my life, and some have stayed, and, you know, Naminé is kind of the ultimate representation of just that state of mind, that nostalgia, and that kind of rose-tinted shading of the past. I, you know, kind of forgot the point I was trying to make. That's pretty cool.
We have been there so many times. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's cool. It's for the run times, for the ad revenue. It's fine.
But that, you talking about that made me make a connection in my head that is not written down here anywhere. But the concept of smell, like, I know it's something that is brought up in this game, but like, I think people say that like smell can be the most memory inducing like sense that you have, you know, like smelling mom's apple pie or whatever that she made when you were 7 years old, that sort of thing. So that connection was made in my mind just now, you talking about that, you know, maybe there's a reason for, you know, the game about memory introducing stuff about smell and like using your sense, you know, in relation to that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Which, like, if you're listening, we do plan on talking about smell and sensing power in other people in a future episode, but not
eventually.
Okay.
But still, that's a great opportunity to bring it up now, because you're right. Like, there are things where I smell and I'm like, wow, I'm literally on the beach at a family reunion. Like, I found my aunt, who is way older now, but here she is, young in her prime, you know. It's crazy. Smell is kind of nuts.
Yeah, I moved out of my parents' house was 8 years ago now, and now every time I go back to visit, I'll bring back like my suitcase of clothes back to my home now, and I'll be like, oh, this smells like my parents' house. Oh, this smells like my mom. Like it's just like a remnant. But
here's a question. What do you think Castle Oblivion smells like? Like I just think of like the super
Sterile.
clinical like.
Yeah, like a doctor's office.
Yeah, to me it smells like bleach, like a pool or something.
Yeah, just like polish.
Or like the dentist's. I feel like the dentist always has a very particular smell.
Yeah. That's such a great question, though. That's definitely a question for like
below.
No, honestly, like that's a great call to action. Thank you, Sonny.
Yeah,
Tell us
see?
what you think Castle Oblivion smells like. But yeah, like again, we should save this for the sensing and smelling episode, but like, you know, being able to smell darkness and all these beings of darkness walking around, but the castle itself is like white, and like Naminé is white, and like I don't know. It's interesting to think about, just like what it smells like.
I know that the organization just smells like hot leather. Like an
Oh, absolutely.
old couch with leather. That's what they smell like to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. Have you guys ever been to like a Halloween store and like the
yeah.
masks, like those rubber masks, these like latex, like they have this smell, this odor to them when you put them on. I just feel like the organization members just smell like that, just like they just reek. It's not like oh they stink, but it's like
Yeah.
I don't, you know.
It's that factory smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like elastic.
Castle Oblivion smells like a spirit Halloween.
Yeah. So fitting.
Okay, where should we drop to next? Mel, what do you think?
We could talk about the end and how she sent Sora to sleep, if you want.
Oh my
That's a great idea.
Literally, like, that is where I started getting a lump in my throat, is when Naminé was like, it's just so sad. Hannah, I think you were saying the other day where you would think, well, I'll let you say it because it's your thought.
Yeah, so I think this is the point you're talking about, where I was saying, like, in this type of like game that's geared towards children and like is a pretty generally happy-go-lucky type of game, it like in a normal series I feel like they would come to some sort of compromise where Sora wouldn't have to completely forget Naminé and still be able to get his memories back, but they chose to go a more kind of realistic, gritty route with it, where he's like, I want to be the way I was. He's not happy about it, but like, you know, it's like, it's hard to accept. It's hard to swallow. You got the lump in your throat.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, right? That's the point?
Exactly.
Okay.
You know me so well.
But yeah, it's so tough because, again, you know, Naminé is this angelic, girly little figure that we all love so much, and she's tortured, and we, you know, get tortured even more by this ending of Sora being like, I want to, you know, be who I was. I want to remember who I had before.
Yeah. And it's
I'm going to choose them over you.
Yeah. It reminds me of what you said a little bit earlier about how Chain of Memories and its attitude towards memory is kind of indicative of real life. And that kind of reminds me of, you know, like the pain of like your friend making a decision, but you know that it's the decision that's best for them. And so you kind of have to like accept it. Like, let's say like a friend moving away, like maybe they're going to a better school when you're really young or something and you're sad. But it's like, but I know this is what's best for them, but I have to like accept it. I feel like Chain of Memories itself, I kind of forgot this, but revisiting it these last few weeks, it's such a mature game. Like the way it handles and addresses certain things. And even like the dialogue is dialogue that I do not feel like recent Kingdom Hearts games have. Like it'll like at one point a character in a recent Kingdom Hearts game says like the word also ran. And I feel like that's an obscure word. But I feel like Chain of Memories itself has like a lot of dialogue that is more mature and that I just would not hear in a new Kingdom Hearts game.
And that, like, I remember I wanted to rant about this to you, Mel, eventually, and I forgot to. But, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but, like, there's this whole kind of, like, idea on the internet that, like, whoa, mature things are happening in this game. This game isn't for kids, blah, 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 blah. And I saw a whole, so I don't really want to put this random person on blast, but, like, I saw, like, an article, if you even want to call it that. It was more like a blog post of someone being like, this is why Kingdom Hearts isn't for kids. And it was basically like them just listing all of the mature things that happen in the series. And to me, that's why it is for kids. That's why it should be for kids, because kids need like a good vehicle to learn about these types of things. Yeah. They need stories like this to help them develop their brain so they know, like, when stuff like this happens in real life, and that's what you're talking about, Mel, like, you know, if they were to come across that sort of hard decision of, like, a friend needing to move schools, then they can remember Sora and be like, oh, yeah, Sora had to, you know, forget Naminé so he could move forward with his life, so he could, you know, get better or whatever.
Yeah. Like,
it's necessary. Like, I've been, like, so enraptured with children's media for a lot of my life. And I'm very gung-ho about this, that, like, kids deserve good media. Kids deserve, like, good stories so they can relate them to their life and help their brains develop. And, like, kids are people, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They deserve good stories. And I, like, you know, the fact that this is all happening to kids, you know, just helps it connect with kids. And it's for kids. And it's mature stuff for kids.
Yeah.
Because it's happening to kids. So it's like, ugh. I love that. I love that about this. It's incredible.
Yeah, kids.
Anyway, tangent over.
Yeah. That was amazing. Kids aren't just impressionable. They're just also very intelligent, and it's so easy in, like, the jaded mind of an adult to kind of overlook that, and to kind of add to this notion that, like, kids need this kind of media. Something else that Naminé is representative of is having a healthy outlet for that trauma, because what Naminé goes through is something that I wouldn't wish upon, you know, anyone, right? It's like she is so diligently bludgeoned by these people, that, like, one of her only outlets is drawing, and I think that is so beautiful, because, like, nobody taught her how to do that. That's just something, that's a gift that she has always had, right? And I think that if any kid needs to learn about that, you know, that's the place to learn it, and you know, in a piece of media like Kingdom Hearts, which is so kind of geared toward that, and especially with Chain of Memories, like, it is such a distinctly mature game with its themes and how kind of volatile and what's the word I'm looking for, like, Sora is like a firecracker in Chain of Memories, as opposed to Kingdom Hearts 1, where, like, yeah, sure, Riku would do something and he'd call him an idiot or something. But, like, with Castle Oblivion, I don't know what it is, but something happens to Sora throughout that journey that really does kind of affect him. And I think inadvertently that is, I mean, I guess directly it is because of Naminé and her abilities. And it's not just about, you know, his memories, but also just his mood and, I guess, going on that tangent, she's just really powerful, and that's it.
Yeah. Like, it must be so frustrating to lose your, like, to walk through a castle and realize that you are forgetting things and you can't remember them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that has to contribute to that, just how frustrating that experience might be.
Yeah, especially because, thinking of it another way, like, the things he thinks he's forgetting aren't even real, because he thinks he's forgetting Naminé, and he wants to remember Naminé more. He wants to remember this childhood girl that he forgot about, who was always drawing on the islands. And so it kind of reminds me of, like, I mean, okay, maybe I shouldn't say this. This is kind of fucking crazy. But it reminds me of, like, unfortunately, like, people... Okay, I realize this is not what's happening in Castle Oblivion, but emotionally, it reminds me of people who are in cults, who get like really passionate about something and it's not even real, but they're so convinced. And so that's what emotionally I feel like Sora is going through, where he wants to remember this girl from his childhood that he's convinced was there, and she literally was not there.
Yeah, it's just yearning for that sense of belonging, you know, and I think that anyone can attest to that, no matter what age you are or where you're from. When Sora, Donald, and Goofy go through that castle, you know, things are, well, I mean, Sora specifically, you know, and, you know, Naminé and stuff like that, you know, things are torn away from them, and there's one scene between Naminé and Sora which always sticks out to me, and it's, I think, near the end of the game, where Sora has to make that decision, and Naminé presents him with this ultimatum of like, hey, you can go to sleep, but you need to do that in order to bring back what's true, because you want to remember her, right? You want to remember Kairi. Or you can just go on living and keep me a part of your memory too, along those lines anyway. And Sora kind of has to make that choice. And throughout the game, we kind of learned that, you know, nobodies aren't really like people, so to speak. They kind of have these sadistic tendencies, and Chain of Memories is just such a sadistic themed game, honestly. Like, a lot of characters die in the most gruesome way possible. But Naminé just kind of looks off to the side. There's a slight pause, and she turns around and she smiles, because she is genuinely, I think, happy for Sora, despite knowing that, you know, what she's done to him and implanted all of these kind of fake scenarios. But whatever was fake to Sora was genuinely real to her. And I think that is such a mature thing for Naminé to do. And I always think about that. And it's honestly top 3 scenes for me, I think, for Naminé. Yeah. Just giving Sora that choice. Because, again, we know how powerful Naminé is. If she had an inkling of selfishness within her, truly, she could just not decide to tell Sora this and just let him be this broken mess. But she genuinely does care, and I think that's what makes her so special.
Yeah, we were talking about that exact scene, I think, a few episodes ago, of like how hard hitting it is, and how like her reaction is so, like, when Sora makes the choice of like, make me the way I was, she's like,
I want to hug her. I just want to hug her.
Yeah, so she's like, oh yeah, that's what anyone would choose. Anyone would want to remember their real memories, right? And it's like, oh my god, she's so little.
I hate this game.
So
this game sucks.
We have to move on to emails, or else I'm literally gonna cry.
Okay.
She's just everything.
She is everything. We love her so much. Okay. So we have a lot of questions about Naminé, which is amazing and incredible because everyone loves her just as much as we do. So this first one, we got a couple from Adrian. I literally went in our email and I searched Naminé, and a bunch of emails came up. So these might be scattered from a couple different people. But the first one's from Adrian. Do you think Sora's subconscious, or maybe even Naminé, might have been trying to give Sora and co. a warning through some of the friends of Sora's memory? I vaguely remember getting that feeling in a replay. I wrote just a few notes of like stuff that I noticed, kind of, you know, maybe cluing into this. There's a scene, I think, when they're first in Traverse Town, where Aerith like calls after Sora when they're about to leave, and she's like, things aren't as they seem, be careful, or something like that. I really don't remember the exact dialogue. But what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, I think I remember we once got an email of someone comparing. So in Hollow Bastion and Chain of Memories, like, Ansem's not there, the Princesses of Heart aren't there. It's literally just Maleficent, Belle, and Beast, and they have their own little storyline where Belle is trying to lie to Beast to save him. And so she's like, leave me alone. Like, I don't want you anymore. I don't love you, which isn't true, but she's trying to save him. And so I do remember we got an email of comparing that to the Riku replica, where at this point he's convinced he's the real Riku. And so he's like, you gotta leave, Sora, like, go away, fuck off, we're over, we're donezo. And so I don't really know if I agree that that was the intention of that Hollow Bastion world setting, but I do know that there are fans who have caught on to similarities between that. But that's all I can remember, because, like, I don't fucking remember the Disney plots of the... like, I don't...
Real talk, yeah.
I don't, like, I know I'm a Kingdom Hearts nerd and, like, ooh, I'm a lore master, but, like, I don't fucking care. I said it. I don't care.
No, I did a Let's Play of Kingdom Hearts 1 not too long ago, and I was like, hey, guys, is Winnie the Pooh in this game? So look, I don't know.
Real.
I'm just a shout.
Real.
Like, like, if it's not directly in front of me, I just instantly forget it. Nominate. Ayo. Yeah, there we go. Own it back.
Oh, wait, there's also a text scene nominee.
Yeah, I didn't really recall the whole context of this exact scene, so we don't have to discuss it, but there's a point where she says, where they're in the black void together at one point, and she appears behind him. He does not see her, but she says, Sora, I'm so sorry, all this because of me, and then she disappears. So, like...
See, and that, you know what? That is another fucking power that I did think about, and I was like, I can't write this. This is too much. But she literally, like, projects herself into people's minds. Or, observes people. Because she does it with Sora multiple times. She does it with Riku. And it's like, that's even more powers and abilities that, like, we don't even have time to open the fucking can for. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Adrian's also asks, we always see her drawing. Do you think these drawings are part of her powers to change memories, or just a hobby to make her captivity more bearable?
Great question.
Right now, the only note that I have is, like, I love that her drawing style is, like, super messy and colorful as such, like, a contrast to, like, this fucking, I call it the Kim Kardashian castle, because it's, like, just so white and, like, so neat.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Anyway, what do you guys think? Because I kind of wrote my opinion in the script of, like, it could be either or. But, because, like, maybe it is, and I just, like, didn't connect it because I'm dumb. Like, I don't know.
Through the context that I have grown up with Naminé, and that's all the detail I'm going to go into on that, I always linked the two together in my head, like, that's how she does it. Like, that they are directly related. She draws to change the change. Change the change.
See, that's why I'm not sure. Because in certain scenes of what you're talking about that you're avoiding, she's not holding a sketch pad. It's nowhere near. Yeah. She's just standing there. So that's why I'm like a little... What?
Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's why I just can't make up my mind on whether it is or not.
Yeah, because, like, also with, you know, Replica Riku, she doesn't draw him dead. She just Thanos snaps his ass and he's on the floor. Yeah. Like, so I don't know. Like, maybe some of her powers like don't need it. Maybe it's like a muse to make it stronger. I don't know.
I think the way it's not really clear is that, like, she does the memory manipulation, and then afterwards, maybe directly after or sometime after, she will draw what she's done to kind of reflect that or cope with it, kind of.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's also great. Yeah, great way to think of it.
You know, we see that with plenty of characters in Naminé's drawings, and maybe in a scene directly after we see this drawing, something kind of related to that happens, or maybe it's a flashback or something like that. And
You're right, because in the beginning of the game, I think it's near the beginning, we do see her drawing Castle Oblivion itself, right? And then it kind of fades in, and Sora and Donald walk into the castle, and then they're like, this is familiar. I've never been here, but I feel like I have. So maybe you're right. Maybe the drawing is... Which, like, is just so interesting on how something physical can have an effect on someone's abstract memories. Like, that's something that I love about Kingdom Hearts. So when I was a kid, I read the book Peter Pan, and I remember the book describes abstract things in physical ways. So, like, one line I remember is, like, it talks about how fairies were born because a baby laughed and that laugh shattered and started dancing around and it became a fairy. And that's what I feel like Kingdom Hearts
That's raw as hell.
Isn't that fucking cool?
Yeah,
Literally,
so cool.
never forgot that. And that's what I feel like Kingdom Hearts does, is it takes really abstract things and connects them in such a physical way that it's just cool. Anyway. Adrian's last message or question was, also, seeing as she can use items to manifest objects from memories, be they real or fake, I can't help but wonder if her powers are similar to those of the castle, as we talked about. Well, okay, wait. So I
also had this question. I wrote it up above, but I knew this was a question coming, so I just kind of waited. But like, they kind of had like her using her powers to change something into something else, while underneath it's still the same thing. Like with the star charm. I don't know. Like, I feel like that further cements in a connection with her and the castle and its abilities. Like, does the castle help her out to do that? Like,
but here's
is
what
she
I
able
can't.
to
Here's what I
manifest?
can't decide. Is like, if it was the castle, then Jiminy's journal would go back to normal after everything, wouldn't it? I think that is what trips me up so much, is the fact that Jiminy's journal remains blank. And then in future games, we see how that kind of has like a small ripple into other things that have nothing to do with Castle Oblivion.
Right.
And so that's why I'm like, fuck. Like, is it an illusion or is it fucking real? Like, it's just so weird.
Yeah. I think either Mel or Hannah said it at the beginning, that like, even though characters forget, those scars are ever present in the entirety of the series. They kind of show up, they fester in plenty of different ways, and that's
Are you saying like when objects change, there's like a remnant of the original object? Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, well, like not just with like Jiminy's journal, but like also just words and phrases, or you know, characters' faces, yeah.
Lucas, thank you for your question.
Hey, Lucas.
Asked us if the organization made Sora lose his abilities via Naminé? Is this
Through Naminé?
Through
probably?
Naminé. Why did they let him win his abilities back before controlling them? Could they give Sora abilities he's never had with memories of battles that never happened? What do you guys think of this? This could be so fun to play around with.
That could be cool. I mean, like, I guess if you want to stretch the logic that far, maybe. That could be something to think about, but
I guess it's just like one of those questions where it's like, because it didn't happen, like there's not much to say, you know?
And also, like, I also with this think about like gameplay, like, you know, winning your abilities back is just, you know, him, you know, messing with memory and stuff from stuff that he learned in the first game. So yeah, I don't know, like it's a video game first and foremost, so like there's no reason for him to get abilities he's never had, I guess, unless that could be like a cool story point where he borrows memories from like Riku or something and like learn something that Riku learned. I don't know, that's just me writing fan fiction in my head, but like
it could just be a case
it could be cool.
Yeah, it could just be a case of Sora just being strong-willed enough to kind of earn it back and kind of break Naminé's spell, if briefly.
Yeah. It is interesting that the organization, like in the very beginning, was like, haha, you forget everything. Now here's a card with Fyra or whatever. Like,
isn't this fun? Fire, remember this?
So they're fucking digging their own graves. Like, hello.
Do you have a thought on it, Mel?
I mean, like, I guess, like, my stupid, annoying self would be like, technically he doesn't remember. He just uses cards that grant him the power. But, like, who fucking cares? Who cares?
It's just a dumb kids game. Who cares?
I mean, I guess, you know, like I said, because it doesn't happen, there's not much we can say.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they wanted him to get at least some abilities. Otherwise, like, he's weak. Because the organization does need him, and they need him alive. And so I guess there's no point in having him if he fucking doesn't remember how to fucking walk, you know? So.
Oh my god, that's a scene to think about. But we can move on to the next one from Aric. Why didn't Naminé manipulate Riku? Since Lexius and Zexion were trying to get control of Riku, why didn't they utilize Naminé's skills to alter Riku's memories to help with this?
See, and this is kind of like what we talked before. It's like, well, it didn't happen. What else can we say? But, like, I think, like, first of all, I think that the people in the basement, other than Vexen, they did not communicate with the upstairs people. They said, we don't fuck with Marluxia or Lexine. They're annoying. We're in two different cliques. They're jocks for the nerds. Like, who cares? But on a more serious note, Marluxia and Lexine wanted the Keyblade's power for the... What did I write here? Hold on. I have to fucking remember my own brain.
I think I have a little bit of an answer, but I don't think it's necessarily correct.
Go ahead.
Like, there's a weird dynamic between the organization members in Castle Oblivion where some of them are in cahoots with each other and then some are trying to backstab and some are trying to get the upper hand, or some have their own personal agendas. And I think that maybe some characters, even if it's not really like in the forefront of the plot, it could be like the subtextual thing where like they kind of want to use Riku for their own benefit, or like, you know, like one thing which blew my mind, and I didn't kind of realize this until after I released my Naminé video, was that Zexion outlives Marluxia. Like, I thought that Marluxia was the final guy, but Zexion only appears, I believe he only appears outside of the basement after Marluxia dies. And then he confronts Riku, and Riku's like, oh, this strong scent, it's just disappeared. And like Zexion's like, that was the castle superior. And it's like, I think that it could be, I'm not necessarily saying this is the case, but it could be like this kind of ulterior motive thing going on where, like, sure, some characters like Larxene love to abuse and manipulate Naminé into doing their bidding, but like maybe certain characters have certain plans for Riku or other characters. So like maybe, and of course, like, again, the whole video game aspect, like Riku's just really strong and he just doesn't care. Riku just does Riku things, you know? Like, I think that's... that needs to be taken into account, so...
Yeah. I think, maybe this was my original point, but, like, Lexius and Zexion, they only wanted to control Riku to counteract Marluxia and Larxene. They didn't really care about controlling Riku in the beginning. They were just kind of like observing him, right? Yeah. And so I could see that, like, first of all, Naminé was probably fucking busy, and they probably knew that, like, the Lord of the Castle is controlling Naminé. Like, Marluxia already has plans with him. Like, don't fuck with Naminé. Like,
she's behind on commissions. Her slots are filled.
Yeah.
But I also think, like if the whole reason why Lexius and Zexion wanted to control Riku was to counteract Naminé controlling Sora, I don't think that there would have been any chance to even get Naminé to control Riku, because why have her control two people to fight each other, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
This hypothetical story is getting a little too complicated for me. Razblue, I think this is our final question, so thank you for all the questions. Razblue asked, my question in regards to Naminé focuses on whether her powers over memory can lead to overriding someone's personality or aspects of it as if it happened in Sora's case. I always wondered about the volatile demeanor he shows towards Sora, Donald, Goofy, the habit, Donald, Goofy, and Jiminy at some points throughout the castle. Is it inherent in Sora's self, or heart, I suppose, or is it a byproduct of his memories being tampered with? What type of attitude? That type of attitude isn't something Sora shows very often at characters he's on friendly terms with throughout the series. Some dialogue and situations around Naminé's abilities make me think it's just another facet of them. Like Riku's replica, like the Riku replica's heart being remade by having his memories erased, for instance. So I'm ambivalent about that. Okay, so I wanted to say that maybe this is just my opinion, but I guess I don't, like, we talked about how, Sora was probably irritated in Chain of Memories because he's forgetting things and, like, he wants to remember other things. And so, but I guess I personally don't feel, I'm probably in the vast minority, but whatever, that's my fate, that Sora in early games is not as, like, I described it as chronically happy as he can kind of get in later games. And I think it's because I think early Kingdom Hearts had more story writers, and I think as Kingdom Hearts gets more and more complex, Nomura had to take more and more of the reins. I feel like I remember reading that in an interview. And so I feel like Nomura's perception of Sora is that he is a really happy-go-lucky guy. But I personally feel like Sora in Chain of Memories and Sora in even Kingdom Hearts 1 is still, like, positive, but, like, at one point in Kingdom Hearts 1, he gets in a fight with Donald, and he's like, fuck you, Donald, fuck you and your beak. Like, I don't want to be around you, right? And it lasts for, like, 2 worlds. Yeah. And so, and I feel like in later games, Sora would be like, oh, he's just being Donald. Like, oh, he's just grumpy. But in my opinion, Sora kind of acting out in Chain of Memories is not all that weird to me, personally.
Yeah. No, not at all. Like, I mean, like, just in the context of Sora and his upbringing, I mean, I can't imagine he faced too much adversity throughout his life, you know, being just this simple islander.
Living on an island and all,
Yeah, and just, like, you know, going fishing and playing with Final Fantasy characters, you know, it seems pretty good. But, like, I think as soon as Sora's world crumbles around him, we kind of see this this other side to him. And it is, like, this kind of unbridled, kind of unseasoned, almost childlike anger and this kind of temper tantrum, this quick fuse. And, like, when something doesn't go quite his way, I think he kind of snaps just a little bit. And maybe, like, in future games, he's just maturing in that sense and just kind of becoming, like, the best of himself. But especially in Kingdom Hearts 1, you know, when he's fighting Riku and arguing with Riku and in Chain of Memories as well, like Larxene, Marluxia, not Zexine, but Larxene really, really gets to him, and, like, he takes a beating both physically and mentally in that game, so it could definitely be that.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, do people forget that, like, Sora has always been a little vicious to bad guys.
Yeah.
Always had
like, the amount of times
attitude.
Sora is like, shut up, I don't want to listen to you anymore. It's so great. Makes me laugh every time. But I kind of want to take an approach on this question a little differently and look at it outside of Sora. Because this person is asking about, like, personality. And I feel like personality and memory are pretty inherently linked, because I feel like a lot of us take a lot of personality traits from other people. So, like, if you were to mess with that memory of, you know, gaining that personality trait, or, like, the memory of that person, you know, I feel like it could, like, mess with that. Like, I don't think we see it. I don't think that it happens in this game. But, like, I feel like both of those concepts are, like, so linked.
Yeah.
And, like, your experiences make you who you are. You know, the people around you make you who you are.
I mean, that's kind of what happens with the Riku replica. It's like, when he's first made in Riku's route, like, he's very arrogant, like Riku is. Like, they're both kind of cocky. But at one point, when Naminé remakes his heart, he's still, like, really aggressive towards Sora, but he has, like, a completely different attitude towards Naminé, because Naminé changed his memories and, like, remade his heart. So he does have a new personality.
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting. A very nature versus nurture type of situation.
Yeah.
I love psychology.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
All right.
Wow.
Well, we got through everything, which is like sad and happy at the same time because the episode's over. Sad, but
No.
we got to talk about Naminé and memory and stuff. Yay!
Quick, let's wipe my memory and do it again.
Yeah, we have. Sorry, we have to start over. All of the audio erased. We have to start over again. We have to redo it.
No.
Don't jinx it.
Okay, so that's all we've got for today.
Sonny, thank you
This
for
has
joining
been-
us.
Yeah, this has been so wonderful, Sonny, having you as our very first guest.
Yes.
My
That's
goodness. I mean, like,
incredible.
okay, so just a bit of context here. This is just crazy, right? So I was just, on social media, as you do. I'm just kind of doing my thing, and I get a message, and it's from Han, and I'm like, oh, wow, cool. And I open it, and I'm like, I think I was watching one of the episodes of the podcast like a day ago before this. And, you ask me, do you want to be on one of the episodes coming up? And I'm like, yeah, let me think about that. Yeah, I would. That would be great. Please.
I need to read your exact message back to me, which was a bunch of eyeball emojis and in all caps, fucking eyeballs, which I read in your voice perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, like, there was no reality where I would say no. So I'm just so grateful to be here. And I mean, like, people that know me for my stuff and my channel know the direct effect that Mel has had on my work in this space. And
That's a lot of pressure.
I know, but like it's just like people don't know this, but Mel was I don't even know if Mel knows this, but they were my first subscriber, like literally number one.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and
I'm
that
such
is
a real person.
Mel investing at ground zero.
and that is just insane. I mean, like, what an omen! Like,
I
it's
will
just
say though, I love subscribing to really tiny Kingdom Hearts channels because they have such good theories and thoughts, but sometimes they just
Yeah.
don't have the resources to like present it well. And so unfortunately, if someone sees something not presented well, they're like, this is garbage. But it's like, no, you really got to listen to them. Like,
yeah.
give them a chance to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially starting out, like, everyone has something to prove, and you can just feel that in, like, the script and, like, the editing and stuff. Like, people just have, like, I'm gonna get it. Like, they just have this kind of, this approach to it. But, like, I just want to say, because I know we're wrapping up, and I don't want to, take up too much of the screen time. But, like, I did release a Naminé video not too long ago for March Caprice, this community-ran Kingdom Hearts event.
Yes.
Shout outs to March Caprice. And like Naminé is, especially like Sonny Novus has existed as a channel for a few years now, but only after kind of adopting this lens to the series, I realized just how much of a significant effect Naminé had on me, and not just as a Kingdom Hearts fan, but like during my childhood. Like, it's a weird feeling knowing that because my first game in the series was Chain of Memories on the Game Boy, I was introduced to Naminé way before Kairi. And that kind of changes my dynamic in such a small way. Because, like, Kairi, Sora, Kairi, Riku, they are such big characters in the series. And you kind of, you always take them first over many other characters, maybe. But with Naminé, like, I didn't have that context of Kairi. So I was almost learning about Kairi through Sora's lack of memories of her, if that makes sense, which is such a weird, abstract feeling, right?
Yeah,
That's like experiencing Chain of Memories from Sora's perspective to me.
Oh my god, yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy, because, like, honestly, like, first impressions and, how we become introduced to someone or something, whether it be a friend from school or a book or a game or a movie or a series or a piece of artwork or anything. I think one of you said this earlier, like, it's just intrinsic with your personality, and like, memories kind of are who you are to a degree, and it's just like, Naminé just represents so much of that, and it's just crazy that I knew who she was, and I felt her pain long before I even played Kingdom Hearts 1,
Yeah. Yeah, I love hearing everyone's like individual stories of how they started with Kingdom Hearts, because I feel like almost no one started with one and then played every game sequentially, like as it's meant to be played, because I certainly didn't start that way. But Sonny talks more about all of that in his video on Naminé. Now, I will say, unfortunately, if you are not caught up with the Kingdom Hearts series all the way up to the new mobile games, maybe sit that one out for now, get caught up with everything, and then go back and check out Sonny's video. We will be linking your YouTube channel in the description, of course. Yeah. So Mel, what are we talking about next week after this?
Our next episode is not going to be about the replica Riku, but about Riku himself and his relationship with Ansem and how that still kind of lingers around. And this will be the episode that I plan on addressing the smelling shit and the scent shit. So if you have any questions about any of those 3 topics,
We stinky.
Send them in.
send them in.
Sonny, where should they send their emails to?
Don't do that too.
Sheddingstarlight at starlightshedding.gov.
Yeah.
You're so close. You're so close. sheddingstarlight@gmail.com. Perfect.
okay.
You nailed it, Sonny.
I mean,
Perfect.
that was my first real answer.
I will say,
sheddingstarlight@gmail.com. Just throw that in. It's fine.
Incredible.
I will say we did kind of throw, I don't know if Hannah would agree, but I don't know if I explained like the process of how we record and like how we edit with Sonny well enough. So he did very well for just.
He was perfect.
Yeah.
You were great. Great first guest. You nailed it. You were perfect.
Awesome. Oh my god. I can't wait for the
Alright.
next episode. Like, I know I'm a part of this episode, but like, I can't wait.
Yay.
It's like, yeah.
So if you liked this episode, if you enjoyed our very first guest episode, if you enjoyed Sonny's performance on this episode, which we haven't edited together the presentation yet, but I have a feeling it's gonna turn out fucking cool as hell.
Yes!
I'm so excited to edit it. If you enjoyed Sonny's performance today and any of his discussion, if you enjoyed our discussion, feel free to rate and review the podcast 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, throw us a sub, tell all your friends, all that good stuff. So I think that's it.
Woo!
All right. Well, everyone, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the starlight.